This is episode 121 of the Double Cross Anime podcast. I'm Whooper, and here's Mario.
Hello, guys.
We're going to talk about Chinese anime this week.
Yep.
Does anime include Chinese productions by virtue of its definition? Do we need to specify? We don't know. We don't know for sure. We're going to talk about some Chinese animated television programs, 5 of them. We watched the
Yep.
first episode of each.
Yep.
Those are The Legend of Qin from
Yep.
2007, the original. Dao Zu Shi, which is Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Then Fog Hill of Five Elements. Uh, I didn't write the Chinese name for Heaven's Official Blessing, but
I
that one.
I got that one. Tian Guan
What
Sifu.
you okay. Yes, yeah. And then Scissor Seven as well, which is kind of like the Cartoon Network version of Chinese anime.
Yep.
And then we're finally finishing Sunny. Yes. So if that's all you
Yay.
care about, you can skip to whatever the timestamp is in the description. I've been doing the timestamps recently. Volume 6 of Sunny
Yep.
is out. But you know what? If you don't want to hear about this Chinese anime, then shame. That's shame on you because one of them was good, I think.
All right.
Kind of.
Because China is a new fashion now. There's a new power. You have to follow them.
They're a
Even
new power. I feel like they're one of the oldest powers in the history of the world.
well, they was one of the oldest, and then they just uh they just hidden. Now they
Ah,
they come back to be more power.
right. They went up to the mountaintop and did a shonen training arc, and now
No.
they've returned.
Yep. All right. How you want to approach this, Cooper?
I don't know. I'm sure you have an idea for what order we can go in. There's
Um.
alphabetical, chronological, whatever.
Yeah, I actually didn't actually list anything, or we can just go with it randomly.
Okay. Well, how about you pick what you want to start with?
All right. Let's go with the oldest one. Then
Okay.
let that out of the system.
Right. So I think in Chinese, at least in like the Romanized version of the Chinese language, when it's spelled out with Roman letters,
Mhm.
you say Q like ch, right? Like ch.
All right.
So I think so. It's the Legend of Qin. Is that right? That's how you say it,
I
right?
absolutely have no idea,
Okay.
but
I think that's right.
you might be right. So let us
Okay.
go with that. The Legion of Change.
Okay.
Um.
Um, the CG is so bad.
Oh my God. It. I understand that it's from 2007, and from my impressions, like I heard that before that like the first season of the Legion of Qin was hand drawn. So I was like genuinely surprised that that watching the first episode it actually CG, and it's really bad CG.
Yeah. Well, not as bad as X Arm, to be fair, which was made 14 years afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's better than X Arm,
Well, but
but
to be fair, it's improved. Like I heard that season 4 and season 5 of the Legion of Qin is really top notch. But based from the first episode, I just wonder why they don't remake this. It just look hideous.
why they don't remake it? I mean, isn't that what they're doing? They they've made a million versions of this show, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you got the point, and not to the level of the production, but story wise, it's a pretty confusing.
Well, this is because there's so much exposition.
Yep, yep,
Like the main character's name is Jiang Min.
yep.
He's the little kid,
Mhm.
and right away we learn from his dialogue, his terrible dialogue with his quote unquote uncle. Whatever Chinese term that translates to, like a respectful form of address for like an older man, I guess.
Yep.
So he's talking with his uncle, and he's talking about how he wants to become strong, and then his uncle tells him, "Well, you mustn't run away. Don't be fearful. Look at the fear in these archers' eyes. That's fear. You should never be like that. Don't run away, and you have to become strong. So right away, this like the shonen flags are
Yep.
up.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is
Yep.
this is shonen anime. He's got to become stronger. He's got to train. He's got to fight. I'm already yawning. And then to make matters worse or better, depending on how you're watching the show, because you could be watching it hoping it is really good, or you could do what I did, and after the first 30 seconds of terrible CG, you start watching it ironically, and then
You start
you
to
just
have
end
fun
up,
with.
yeah, you start to have fun, and you start to like hope and wish that it gets worse with every passing second, which it does. So we go from the little conversation between Tiang Min and his uncle, and then the camera kind of pans up, and then on the cliff overlooking this showdown that's about to happen, you have the wise old sage, and then the menacing guy with the hat pulled over his eyes, and
Yep.
the old sage he talks for like a minute about Tiang Min's terrible childhood, like his he was an orphan, and then somebody took him in, but they were killed by bandits or something, and it's just his whole story is laid out in this huge paragraph of dialogue from this old man, who has no relation to this character and who only shows up in that scene. Like dude, it's so bad.
All right.
I don't know if the person writing the script even really cared about any of the characters. It's kind of like the script was written without any of the characters' names. They just wrote the lines. And then
Alright.
they were like, okay, well, we'll give this line to this guy, and then we'll give this line to this guy. Like, it didn't even matter at all who was saying what. It was bad.
Yeah. All right. Just to put some of the background on this show, the show itself. This is like the Legend of Qin is like one of the most successful animated series in China. I would say for the last 20, 30 years. It popularity is so huge that like it have like 5 seasons, and the Tan dynasty that they did speak here, the Lord, the Tan Lord is he's the real person. He's
I wondered about that. Yeah, I thought it might be a real historical figure.
yeah. All others figures though, I think it's just like a legendary name. So we heard about them, but we're not sure they are real or not. And I'm pretty sure that the main character isn't real. I think he's just the protagonist for this story. So he the original characters.
Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, the name that I most suspected was a real person was Emperor Qin,
Mm-hmm.
who they say that he unites China.
Yep, he
You
did.
know.
And
Yeah, and I figured that was a real person because I know that the Qin dynasty is a real thing.
Yep. And he come to the point that when he died, he actually let build like 1,000 or more like soldier just to bury with him. I
Right. They were talking about that at the start
Statues.
of the show, like the
Yeah.
mausoleum that he creates for himself
Yeah.
with all those golden soldiers or whatever they were made of.
Yep. That's just insane. But
So I assume there might be something about like him being reborn in this show at some point,
I have no idea.
like reincarnating, because they went into detail about his burial at the start of the first episode. So I assume he'll factor back into the plot somehow.
Yeah. So that just what I mean is that I think the show make with the intention that you already know all the historical figures. So that's why for us as a foreigners watching it, we are completely lost to all these contexts.
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's definitely true that a Chinese person who's been educated in a certain amount of history and like Chinese folklore and mythology and such would pick up on a lot of references, both to real people and to fictional characters
But-
that I am not picking up on. But at the same time, I mean, that's what you do with your first episode.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't mean that you dump a whole bunch of information like aggressively onto the viewer, but you can get them acclimated to the setting and the characters. And even for the characters who do not have real life equivalents, like Jiang Min,
Mhm.
we have no. All we know about him is that he wants to be stronger, and that
Yep.
he accidentally set off some fireworks while he was trying to cook a pheasant.
Yep.
That was a really confusing scene, by the way. Like, I
What?
saw the weird little glowing stick on the ground when
Yep.
he was cooking the pheasant with his sword. I wasn't sure what that was supposed to be, and then the fireworks went off. I did not make the connection that that was what had happened until one of the characters actually says, "Oh, he set off the fireworks accidentally."
Oh, I
Did you
didn't.
realize that that was supposed to be a firework?
It's not. I didn't realize that. I thought that he gonna burn the whole forest down. So I was a bit confused. What happened later on?
Yeah, I mean
Now I know.
that was just a result of a, you know, weird, strange direction and a bad CG model. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I don't know how else they would have depicted fireworks though. It's not as though they had the little, the rocket-looking ones that we have now
Yep.
in 2021.
Well, so the production was really bad, but like you said, the direction is really confusing.
Yeah.
It's terrible as well. I think that's my biggest issue with the first episodes of the Legend of Qin.
Yeah, I mean, the fight animation
Yep.
is just so bad that it's kind of awesome, actually, how bad it is. It's it's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It,
the
I,
characters are moving around and it's as though they have like no relation to one another. They're just moving in their own individual dimensions, and then
did,
one of them like breaks through and crosses into the other one's dimension
did you
at a
see the
moment's
fight?
notice.
Like
What
they
fight?
like all the fights within the episode, it make no impact.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to make a character punch another character realistically because you
I
have to worry about like the balance and the weight and the impact and the reverberation, the
Yeah.
feedback from both characters. It's really hard to do.
yeah.
So when you're
Well,
dealing with computers and you're not able to express that like in individual moments with your hand drawing a
Mhm.
picture, but you have to worry about making a model do what you want it to.
mhm.
Two models. It's hard stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say that this is like a product of its time. So it's actually great to see this first episode and then the first episode of Ruby, to see and the and some first episode now in 2021 to see like how the CG has improved. But then again, it's 2007, so it's a year where Pixar released Ratatouille, Wall-E.
I mean, there's no comparison.
Yeah, I just mean like it's not really the product of its time.
I think it is a product of its time, and its place and the technical limitations of its place. I guess I don't know, like a lot of computer power is required to process even one frame of like a big budget Hollywood, Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks type of thing.
Mm.
They have like, probably floors and floors of server rooms with computers running at all times in order to process that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't know how this show was made. It may have been made just on like one network of like, I don't know, 10 computers,
Yep.
with a bunch of people working individually and probably not communicating with one another very much. If the strange scattershot nature of the episode is anything to go by.
Mm-hmm.
There's just really a lot of weirdness. Like at the very end, that big, huge guy with the spiky ankle bracelets,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how he approaches at the very end. We don't know what his deal is, like who. It's a cliffhanger, so that's to be expected, I guess. But it's just his introduction's so weird because like he jumps up in the air, preparing to strike, and then while he's in midair at the apex of his jump, when he's blocking out the sun, he says, "The art of war is the art of deceit. Truth and deceit always mingle on the ever-changing battlefield."
Wow, you actually remember the whole things.
Well, no, I wrote it down.
Okay.
But it was so
Yeah.
funny how he delivers the line like in kind of a bored tone, and he does all this while kind of levitating in midair, and then That's the cliffhanger. Like, what is there to be excited about here? We don't.
Yeah. Or I would say that all this dialogue in this episode is just nonsense.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I
Oh
was just
my
I
god.
was just cooking my
I don't
pheasant
even.
and I accidentally set off the fireworks. I'm sorry.
Yep. Yep. I don't even know why. That after this episode, I just losing hope for what to comes. But since it's so popular in China, I might, maybe give it another chance. Maybe give the
Why?
whole first season a chance.
Why?
Just to see how the story progress.
Just watch the new one. I'm sure one of them is like a reboot, like a soft
Uh,
reboot, and tells essentially the same story, maybe with slightly different characters. I would just figure out which one that is and go with that
yeah.
instead of subjecting yourself to this. I mean, unless you're watching it, with some friends and you're all like drinking, and you have some snacks that you're passing around and you're all laughing about how terrible it is.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to watch this, in the current year.
And enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, you have another note for this show, or you want us to move on to the next one?
No, I'm good.
All
I had
right.
a great time watching this.
I figure out the order that we should go. We go from my least favorite to my most favorite.
Okay.
So can you get to what the next one is?
Can I guess what the next one is? Scissor Seven.
Nah, Heaven Official Blessing.
Okay.
Tien
That's
wants
actually
to
you and I have the same order. That was my second least favorite as well.
All right.
I thought maybe you wouldn't like Scissor Seven very much, because we have different opinions about comedy anime. But yeah, Heaven's Official Blessing.
They are directed by Hal Leisner, the companies, and I have watched many shows from Hal Leisner already. They are like I would say like one of the main animation production companies in China that do the anime style, and this one may be
Right.
the most popular one. I'm not really sure on the first episode. I think it has some interesting idea, but
I think it was incomprehensible.
All right. Yep.
It made no sense to me at all. Like, only at the very end of the episode do we understand what the big deal was about this guy like coming up, ascending to heaven, and then people being like, "What again?" First of all, like right out of the gate, and maybe this might just be my like American perspective, but like Protestant white American being like, "Well, you can only go to heaven once." you know, you after you die, you go to heaven, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So for me, hearing that he would come back to heaven for the second time, right away I was like,
It's making
so
no
what's the
freaking
deal?
sense.
What's the deal with that? Not that it's impossible. This story can set its own rules for itself, but what's the deal? And the show doesn't explain it. Like resolutely does not explain that until the very end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like by the time we get to the end of the episode, we're waiting to see what the deal is with this ghost bride. And the way that the flashback at the end of the episode was framed, it was almost like the main character was the ghost bride, because they kept cutting to shots of him
walking.
Yeah, as they were walking, they kept cutting to shots of the male character. Well, I mean, they were both men, I guess, because
Yep.
the main character was dressing as a woman. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like of the ghost bride person, they kept cutting to shots of him and then going back to the flashback. Like I just didn't understand. It was so strange to me.
Yep.
Um,
I think what is the best out of this first episode is the main characters. So he's charming in a way. I think he's good enough to carry the first episodes because on
He's a bumbling idiot.
alright, not that idiot. We have the idiot in other shows.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's not. Maybe he's not stupid. Maybe he, like, got good marks in school, or whatever. But every he ascends into heaven again for the second time, and everyone's like, oh, not this guy again. Get him out of here.
Yep.
Send him on some wild goose chase down on Earth, some mission. We just get him out of here. I don't want him here. Everyone thinks of him as being like, a buffoon and just an obstacle and a nuisance. That's what I mean.
I actually really like
Do
the
you?
act style, the background act when he ascend to the heaven. So
Yeah,
the act of the heaven, it's really neat.
yeah. I noticed watching a lot of these episodes that the backgrounds were very nice. A lot nicer than
Mm-hmm.
what you get out of a lot of you know traditionally. I mean, not traditional, just anime in
Japanese
general.
anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly Japanese anime. A lot of the backgrounds look a lot nicer than that stuff.
I would say it looked different. That's why it's more eye catching to us.
Perhaps, yeah, but I mean, just more detailed in
Yeah,
general.
true. Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate that for sure. Although when characters are walking, sometimes they just take like two frames of the character walking and kind of move it along the screen, like bob it along the screen as though it's on a popsicle stick,
Yep.
and it's like doot, 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 you're moving it from left to right across the frame. So there's during combat, the animation's very flashy and nice,
Mm-hmm.
but during more straightforward scenes where they're just like walking from, let's say, like uh, stage left to stage right,
Yep.
or walking away from the camera, for example, it'll just be like just a couple drawings of the character, just appearing to like bob across the frame or like slide away from the camera's view. It's
Mm-hmm.
very off-putting.
Yeah. And I must say that this is like a shonen ai show as well. And I don't know for Japan, shonen ai in Chinese literary and culture is actually really popular.
Yeah, I mean, I got that sense from watching a lot of these episodes, like beautiful male characters paired
And
together.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I mean, I do. It's you you're watching this, you want to see, you don't want the main characters to be ugly,
Yeah.
you want them to be beautiful. The
Mhm.
same with like why movie stars are so attractive. That's those are the people that they get.
Yep, yep.
And as for why it's all men, well, I figure that probably dates back to the stories, the myths that were told during this period of actual Chinese history, which all these shows are borrowing from.
Yeah.
It was probably forbidden for women to hold any position or
Power.
status.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be men only, basically,
Huh.
who are driving these stories, and women would just be like, I don't know, like in
Supporting.
we forgot to talk about the snake lady in the Legend of Qin. The snake lady with the nice ass,
Oh my
who
God.
a couple of the soldiers they look at her butt as she's walking away, and then they look at each other, and
Yep.
their eyebrows go up and down like hubba hubba.
Yep, 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 yep.
So women in these sorts of shows would probably be relegated to those roles, like the temptress, you
Yeah.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the men, like the beautiful uh, men, have to keep each other on the straight and narrow. Don't fall prey to the women's wiles. You
Mm-hmm.
gotta serve your lord honorably.
Yep. What's other part I find interesting is I think the show mix between its light hat moments with dark moments is quite okay. It's not really that good, but I think it is a right mix.
I can't think of any dark moments except for at the very end.
Yeah, the pride. Yeah, the monster who actually kill a lot of people.
The monster who kills a lot of people.
It's not the monster, the zombies.
Does that happen at the very start, maybe?
At the start and at the end as well. Like we see like a whole swarm of zombies, and I don't even know why there's a lot of zombie in this. It only show that we watch.
You're talking about the end, right? When you say there's a whole swarm of zombies, you're talking about the end of Heaven's Official Blessing. When...
Yep.
What did happen? I mean, I was talking about this a little earlier, like 5 minutes ago, or however long it was.
Yep.
What happened at the end of this episode?
All right. What happened at the end is he cross dressed as a bride. They go through the mountain. He's hear the song. He hears the lullaby, and
and only he can hear it.
Only he can hear it, and then I think he's not supposed
because
to
it's the ghost bride who's like sending the song directly into his eardrums. Who's targeting him with the song. So he sends everyone else away, and then the ghost bride like reaches into the palanquin or whatever it's called that he was resting in, sitting in.
You forgot you forgot the whole swarm of zombies before that. So they was ambushed by zombies. Or whatever devils, and
demons, sure.
Yeah, demon. And then like it's got really overwhelming. So he tell the others just to run away, and he deal with the groom, and so they walk together to the eternity.
Oh, have I been saying ghost bride this entire time?
Yeah, you did say that.
Okay, yes, ghost groom. Thank you. Oh, I had that wrong. So yeah, that's what I don't get. Like the ghost groom reaches into the the cart, the palanquin, whatever it's called, and then the main character guy and the ghost groom start walking. The insert song starts playing.
Yep.
And then the flashbacks happen. What was the timing? Why that timing? Why do we learn about the main character's history at this point when it's supposed to be like the most tense part of the story?
I
don't get it.
Yeah, I absolutely have no idea why they do that either, because it's really out of context. But I think it serves as like the cliffhanger for for the next episode for to see like what all the deal was.
I mean, the deal is that he's super awesome. We learn that he came back down to Earth to save his village or something.
Yep.
Which is why he had to be reincarnated a second time. And so obviously that means he's really selfless and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He also sent away all of his men when the zombies were attacking, so he doesn't want anybody to get hurt, so he's a really great guy. And what's he going to do about this ghost groom? Well, he's dressed as a woman, so he'll probably be like, I know that you're hurting, and but you should just move on to the afterlife. Don't continue to haunt this mortal realm, because there's nothing here for you. Now go on and be free.
Yeah, the thing is, all the prize are spirited away, so it's not really clear that they are
right.
or not. I just think that he might be just hiding them somewhere,
I suppose that's possible. That would make the main character even more awesome if he could find where they're hidden and then return them to their families.
Yep.
Or perhaps by exorcising this demon, they'll return from the spirit world or something.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to care. Like.
Right. I can see why. How you feel of the two psychics?
Just literally who? Like I don't. Just no one. They're.
Right.
They're at each other's throats. They're constantly competing. They probably secretly love each other.
Oh.
It's that dynamic. I don't know. I've seen it way too many times to be interested.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, after watching this one, I might again. Let me finish. Watch the second episode to see what the deal is. But I don't think I'm gonna watch this one through the end. It's just 11 episodes, not that bad.
I remember Lenlo was watching this, and he got up to episode 8.
Lenlo and Amatage. She
Yeah, they
loved
got
it
up to
as well.
episode. They got up to episode 8, and then I feel like the production halted or something. Let me
Oh,
see. Tian. Okay, here we go. It's in my search history. Oh, never mind. They do actually have all the episodes out.
cool.
Just recently, at the end of January, they started up again.
All right.
Looks like it comes out once every 2 weeks or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the episodes are there. If any of you fans of Chinese anime out there want to give Heaven's Official Blessing a spin, all the episodes are available.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Or read Lenlo blog about it. He have more positive thing to say than us.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right.
I just thought
next
this
one.
was really bad. All right. So for you is the next one,
Yep,
Dao Zu Shi.
that's the one. Grandmaster
Okay.
of Demonic Cultivation.
Yes, this was
It-
also number 3 for me. I felt it was very similar to Heaven's Official Blessing, to be honest.
I was about to say the same. It's just basically the same plot, the same character stock, with better production and like just better characters for me.
I mean, I don't think it's really the same plot. I mean, this one's a lot darker than the other one because the main character is like a super evil dude who controls zombies with a flute,
Yep,
who was reborn into the body of like
an
a
idiot.
member of the lower class who wanted revenge on
Yep,
the people who mistreated him. I mean, that's pretty.
dark.
Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Yep,
But
yep,
unfortunately, he acts like a complete fool. He makes an ass out of himself on purpose,
yep,
I think,
yep.
so people won't suspect that he's been summoned into another guy's body.
Yep.
But the end result of that decision is just like it makes his character impossible to take seriously as a viewer.
Yep, that's correct as well.
Also, the subs,
I
subs
just don't,
for the show and the previous one, the subs were so bad.
Yeah.
It's just
I
terrible.
got the same thing.
He has a screw loose and is full of fudge.
It's just the sub for the previous one have they're too small. I don't know if you watching the same version as I am, but the sub was really bad.
Yeah, I mean they were small, but it's the it's the translation and the spelling and the grammar that's more important to
Yep.
me.
The sub is alright. What was it?
What for this show,
for this
Modao
show.
Zu Shi and Tianguan Sifu, the subs were like there were misspellings all over the place.
Alright.
They were
Mhm.
awful. They're really bad.
Yep. Alright. One of the criticism I have with these shows is that the character design they look kind of the same. So sometimes I can tell between the other two guys who's supposed to be I don't know what they are actually.
They're members of the Lan clan.
Alright. They are meant to be exorcists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't tell between the two of them, and I know that
Yeah, me
one of
neither.
them is the main characters. I just can't tell them apart.
Are you sure one of them is the main character? Isn't
Yeah.
isn't the guy who arrives at the very end the other main character?
I do think he just like the teacher, the kind of characters. So
Okay.
I don't think he's that important in terms of story.
All right. Well, I guess I just misinterpreted from the OP, which shows the two main characters back to back on
Oh.
the little title card right at the very end. I thought that the guy who shows up at the end, Lan Zhan
Yeah.
or whatever, because like all the characters in this show have 4 different names. And I'm not talking about their name being 4 words. I'm talking about like that they'll have a typical name like a family name,
Yeah.
and then they'll have a courtesy name. I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe
Yeah.
it has to do with like being in a court,
Yep.
having like a courtesan's name. I'm not sure.
Yep.
And then they also have names that relate to their professions, by which they're called by like their the people who are hiring them.
Yep.
And then there's one other one, and I just that made my head spin. I can't.
It's just all over
You
the
want to talk
places.
about something that would help you interpret the show if you're Chinese? That would be it. Because I was like, what? Who are these people?
Yep. 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 I completely agree with that. It just all over the place, all the characters. Um, Other than that, I can't find myself to really care about the monster with the left hand. So I think that the devil or something they possess into all the victims.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not really something that I find that interesting.
Well, all the people who get possessed by this devil are characters you don't really care about,
Yeah.
and all the people who it's attacking are like weird, are either like emotionless, pretty much, like the two twins who belong to the Lan clan, who are just like all about
Handsome
propriety and following the rules. So there's them. They're being attacked. Who cares if they live or die? I don't. And then
Yep.
the other guy, the main dude, who is the flute zombie man,
Hmm.
reincarnated in this kid's body. He like I don't know. Am I supposed to find his weirdness endearing? Like when he freaks out and starts crying and running around, so that no one suspects he's.
Maybe you're supposed to find that funny,
Yeah, but it isn't funny though. Like it just
Yep.
isn't funny.
Oh, I completely agree with that.
It's just really annoying. Like I think it's an interesting premise. Like
Mhm.
the whole reincarnation genre in anime is mostly really bad because it's just a way for a character to have like lots of really cool powers.
Yep.
But in this one, it's the setup is kind of interesting. Like this guy has wished for revenge on members of a. I don't know if he's a servant to this family.
No. He actually like the illegitimate child.
Oh yeah, there was something about that, wasn't
Yep.
there?
Yep.
Yeah.
So he
So
got-
he's wished for vengeance, and then he gets it, but at the cost of his humanity. Like he's gone.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
assume he's dead, or maybe his conscience is dormant inside this guy's body.
Yep.
And now this guy is like this new guy is in the driver's seat. But there's questions about like how did he know how to summon this guy? That was a
Yep.
little line of dialogue that I thought was interesting near the start.
Yep.
Was once this evil character wakes up in this guy's body, he's like, how did he know to summon me? How do you know who I was?
Yep. Yep.
Because he wasn't a very well known sorcerer or whatever he is.
Mhm.
So for this guy to have knowledge about the person who he summoned, that raises a bunch of questions about how this came to be.
Yeah.
So with that in the background, you can kind of get a sense of where the story might go. It's kind of interesting.
I don't think that he summoned him directly. He just followed like the ritual, and that actually just bring the main guy into him randomly. That's what I think.
I don't think so,
Mm.
because we get to see him do the ritual in that scene at the start where he's in the
Yeah.
the stable and the donkey's like
Yep.
like he's really scared, and you hear him say the guy's name when he's summoning him.
All right. Yep. That's true. Yep.
So I mean, there's some intriguing aspects of this show,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I just feel like they were wasted by kind of a. I mean, it was really long,
Yeah.
and it didn't always fill that time very well. And the script was, I mean, the subs at least. Maybe the script was great in Chinese, but the subs were.
It's
good.
funny though because I have the two notes on these shows, and one of them is not bad, interesting concept, which you just said about, and the other one is a bit confusing.
Yeah. I'd say that pretty much sums it up. Also, I thought the camera work during the fight scenes was really overambitious.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
there were a lot of moments, and perhaps this is also due in part to the fact that the big fight at the end took place when it was dark.
Hmm.
But I just think that the excessive camera movement not really warranted. You
Hmm.
know, I'm sure that the characters are all acrobatic and athletic, and you want to show that off and stuff. But I don't know. I would just prefer something a little simpler and clearer,
Yep.
especially in a first episode.
Yep.
So
It days one again. I think I will want to watch this show to the end. Just see what the deal is.
I mean, the deal is that it's. I don't know what the deal is. I guess you're right. You'll have to watch it to find out what the deal is. I don't know why you would want to know what the deal is. Uh,
Yeah, but we were just talking about like three basically the same shows like with the same settings, martial arts, and the same kind of power. Actually, it's not really the same thing, but it's just like a variation of the same things.
yeah, I mean, probably set during the same era of Chinese history. A lot of the outfits are the same.
Yep.
A lot of the terminology, like talking about, reincarnation and cultivation and demons and such.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the music and the OPs, like the OPs for a lot of these shows are pretty much following exactly the same template. You know, it's a
I
Chinese pop singer singing a more traditional song, and then the
cool.
visuals are all like, there'll be a river or a flower or something that blooms into view via like a watercolor digital effect.
All right.
Um,
It's
and
cool.
it looks cool, but when
No,
you
no.
when you understand that they're all like working from probably the same basic template,
Yeah.
um,
I just mean that it's
doesn't feel
cool
too
that
special.
you watch all the OPs. I just skip it right away. All of them.
Oh, you gotta watch the OP and ED, man. Those are often the best part of an anime.
I just skip them right away. I just
They
no time
they
for
put
this.
all the cool they put all
It,
the cool animation in those.
especially when these like the pop Chinese song just start just pop up. I just oh my god! I just get me out here.
You don't like that kind of music?
Oh my god! It's too cheesy for me.
Oh, it's definitely cheesy. I mean, they're delivering it that way on purpose, I think. Whatever the lyrics are, I'm sure they
Yeah.
have to do with, you know, uh I don't know what they have to do with reincarnation and like the beauty of nature and uh looking for a lover on a moonlit night or whatever. I think that
Yeah.
was one of the lines in one of them. Um but that's the point. And so I that's they're supposed to get you primed for like kind of an epic romantic romantic in the sense of being very fanciful and not really tethered to reality. They're supposed to get you in the mood for that sort of thing. So I watched all of them, trying to figure out what's the DNA here.
Mhm.
What's the central idea of all these shows? And the idea seems to be you got a bunch of beautiful characters in ancient China, or perhaps not so ancient China. I don't know how long
Yeah.
ago. And they're just going to be handsome and fight evil, and there's going to be beautiful scenery. And beyond that, I don't really feel as though they have much of an identity or like a purpose even.
Yeah.
But I've only watched a small slice of each of them, just one episode, so it's a very
Yep.
shallow.
Shampoo.
Yes.
All right. The next one
Yeah.
is Scissor
Scissor Seven.
Seven. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the exact same opinion about
Others.
all of these then.
Yeah. It's just a breath of fresh air when we see
Yeah.
like an, uh, a Chinese anime that happened in the contemporary times, and it's a comedy to boost.
Yes. It is a comedy, and it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I
alright. Yeah.
definitely laughed at the scene where he's invaded the wedding.
I just don't know how.
And
Yeah.
and he cuts the groom's hair by mistake. That was pretty funny.
Yep. And then he realized a mistake, so he cuts the pride hair. So that was funny.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really good timing.
Yep.
On that moment, because everyone's stunned, so they're totally still, and they wait just long enough for him to like come to his senses, and without moving any other part of his body, he just reaches his arm around behind her head and snips off her hair.
Yeah.
And then of course her expression when he does that is like, earlier I said it was kind of like a Cartoon Network version of Chinese anime.
Yep.
Like the crazy facial expressions kind of remind me of Cartoon Network shows.
Yeah, I think it's refreshing. I think the comedy works quite well. I just don't know how they can extend this premise, because it is the premise that he has to kill people, right? And we really know that he doesn't have that in him.
Well, I don't know. He kills a robot in this episode.
He doesn't
or wait, does the other person show up to kill the robot?
Yeah, the other person
No,
show
he
up to
kills the
kill the
robot.
robot. No, the other persons.
Okay. Well, he summons the scissors, and what do the scissors do? Do they cut off the robot's arm or something? I can't remember.
Yep, that's right, yep.
Okay, and then the other person, as the robot's about to kill him, the other person shows up and decapitates it.
Yep.
And I mean, I think it's the presence of this other killer at the end who provides the series with some legs.
Yep.
Because they say like, what do they say to him exactly? Where did you get that killer badge or something along those lines?
Yeah, is that the badge?
I can't remember what exactly they said, but whatever line they delivered in that moment, obviously pointed to the fact that they are a career criminal and that they're aware that there are plenty of others, and so they're wondering about this guy's place in that world of assassins. So the appearance of this character promises the appearance of many other killers in the future. And the way that we're going to get this new guy started on his mission, on his quest to become a killer so that he can... I forget why exactly he wants to be one. It's so that they can get enough money for something.
So they don't have to do like the 9 to 5 work. They get a lot of money. It just like all these really want to be lazy stuff.
Yeah, that is the root of it, I think. But I also think there was a certain item or commodity or something that they mentioned, that the talking bird mentioned, that they could buy with like 100,000 yuan or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Anyway, I mean, we see the assassin at the end, so we know there are going to be other assassins in the future. And then we get the opening of the barbershop.
Yep.
Because he's good with the scissors, the barbershop is where they're going to pick up, clients so that they can do contract killings. So I assume that for a while at least, because there is a season 2 of this show already out.
Yep.
But in season 1, I assume that it's going to be episodic for a little bit. There's going to be new people coming into the barbershop, and that maybe there'll be a back room, like rumors will start to spread about you can go here and like hire an assassin. So that'll provide the series with enough momentum to keep going for a while, I think.
Yep. It's actually pretty interesting to see all these, all the things that might happen in the future.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also like an unlimited number of disguises that he can assume, because he's being trained, and I really did like that montage, the training montage with the bird, the 3 eggs.
Yep.
And one of them lets him transform into anything. And if you watch the ED, I know you didn't, but if you watch it, the theme of the ED is like him transforming into a million different objects. It's not just people. He can transform into anything at all.
Interesting. So he actually got quite a bit of skills, so he can transform it into anything he wants, and he has a way with the scissors.
Yes, he does.
Interesting.
Although not everyone thinks that it's a big deal. Like the kid who orders from him in his food cart at the start is just like, you're kind of showing off a little bit too much for a guy who sells street food. Why don't you chill out over there?
Yep. Which is true.
So perhaps that's motivating him as well. He wants to elevate his status,
Yep. Yep.
his place in the world. He wants like a bigger piece of the pie for himself. Maybe that'll start to become clearer as the episodes go on.
Yeah. So it this one like considerably shorter than the other ones. It is right, like the other episode we got is always marked about like 30 minutes. This one is
The
one is
longest
just
one
like
was
Yeah,
this
the one-
one's a regular TV episode length, right?
yeah, it's about like 15 to 20 minutes.
Well, was it shorter than the usual?
Yeah, I
Like
think it's a bit
21
shorter
or
than
22 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I mean, that works in its favor because the other ones were long as hell.
Yeah.
God, was Mo Dao Zu Shi.
Yep.
That was just so long, man. I was fighting to stay awake while I was watching that.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that was not the worst of these 5 shows. Like you got to be scraping the bottom of the barrel to get that thing out of last place.
Yeah. So yeah,
It was nice that Scissor Seven was
I
short.
actually enjoy this show quite a bit. I think the comedy timing is really good on this one.
Yeah. How do you feel about the bird character?
Annoying at first. He becomes so gay later on. He actually the one who pushes the story forward.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the other guy is the talent. The main character is the talent,
Yeah.
and the bird is just like, providing him with gadgets and opening up the store for him and stuff. And as being his mentor and assigning him missions, he's really just like the other guy is James. The main character is James Bond, and this guy is
Q?
Money Penny.
Yep.
Yeah, Q as well. He's Money Penny and Q folded into one,
Yep. I can see that.
and he's also a bird.
Yeah. He remind me a bit of the bird in a Tamako love story and Tamako market. I know
I've seen Tamako Love Story, and I remember there was a bird, but
a talking
the bird was part of like a whole story arc in Market that
Yep.
was kind of ignored in the movie because the movie was mostly about the romance.
Yep. If you see him like in the series, he has a bigger role, and he's more annoying than this one.
How about Big Bird in
Oh.
what was it? Taiso Samurai.
Yeah, the same level of cuteness. Let's say
I mean, Big Bird was the best character in that whole show. So
he
all the human characters were insufferable, except Rachel.
He cannibalism, right?
She's a good daughter.
All right, let's.
That's right. Where he
move
eats
on.
the KFC. Yeah.
Yep. Let's move on to the last shows.
Yeah, this was by far the best, I think.
The one that truly good. Fuck your other 5 elements. Or Wu Wan Wu Xing.
Right.
I heard that.
I thought this was going to be exactly like the others at first, but then it wasn't.
All right. What was the order that you watching this one?
Say that again. Sorry.
What was the order that you watched?
Oh, what did I watch? Yeah. I started with the Legend of Qin, then
Yep.
I watched Mo Dao Zu Shi,
Uh-huh.
then I saw Fog Hill of Five Elements.
Yep. All right.
So that was third.
That was the first watch for me. So like it's.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
It's downhill from here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I heard that they took like 4 years to produce the 3 episodes, and I think it shows because everything look amazing. The production quality is just top notch.
Well, they actually do have a few scenes like what I was talking about before, where characters like traveling from one
yep.
side of the screen to another
Mhm.
do not look so great. I noticed a little bit of that in Fog Hill. And I was disappointed by that because the rest does look really good.
Mm. Yeah, that.
So I mean, maybe that's just a trade-off that you have to make. Like the beautiful background art, like with like the splotchy inks on the trees for the leaves, and the really interesting color choices,
Yeah.
and all the cool fight scenes and stuff. You just have to forgive the fact that the characters walk like robots sometimes.
Well, yeah, that's a sacrifice that I'm happy to make. I'm happy to endure. I feel that the animation is really good. The art style, for example, it just, oh my god! I took a lot of screenshot for this one, and
Mm.
even like the characters of face expression are really expressive.
Yeah, that's true. By far the most expressive characters.
Ha-
Sometimes like to crazy cartoonish degrees.
Yep.
Like I remember
Hmm.
the a scene where the main guy's nose grew like Pinocchio.
Yep.
I remember a lot of crazy looks from the main girl, like where her eyes bug out, or where she's like disgusted or embarrassed or something, and her all of her features on her face will like kind of sink down to the bottom, and her forehead will grow, and like you get the little weird blue lines on it. And the ducks, they're
Yep.
even the ducks get in on it. Like when they hear about all the different ways that they can be cooked and boiled and stuff, they all freak out in like a very human
Yep.
way. Show's not afraid to be a cartoon.
Yeah. How you feel about the story though?
There were 5 mystical elements,
Yep. Can
and
you actually tell the five elements?
well, this show actually did something rather weird, and it
Yep.
said Earth twice, didn't it?
All right. Because
It's supposed to be water, earth, fire, wind, and wood,
no, it's not wind
but
actually. It actually, from what I remember, is water, fire, wood, metal, and
Earth.
earth. Yep.
Yeah, but they didn't say metal in this one. I don't think they said Earth, and then they said
All
something
right.
else that was like identical to Earth,
Hmm.
like rock
Interesting.
or ground or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
because because usually that's the five basic element in Chinese culture.
Right,
Instead of the four that in the Western culture that we usually have.
right. Yeah, there's some little bit of backstory with or lore, I should say. There's a little bit of lore. I mean, first of all, we're ignoring the fact that it starts with a gigantic fight scene with a demon that seals
Yep.
away 2 of these girls, which makes absolutely no sense. We have
Yep.
no context for
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And when I was having just watched Dao Zu Shi, which starts with a shadowy fight scene that doesn't really establish any of the characters, then we move to Fog Hill and it starts with the exact same fight scene. And obviously, this is just like a staple of the genre.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I don't
Yep.
know if you can call these sorts of shows wuxia or whatever it is that they are,
Yep.
or wuxia, however you would say it.
Wuxia. Mm. Yep.
Um, but obviously, this is just the way that that's just how you make one of these types of stories, is they start with a big fight scene.
Yep.
So when that happened, I was like, oh god, this is just gonna be trash again. I don't care about this. But then,
Mm-hmm.
the fire guy, they reintroduce his character halfway through the episode, and he actually gets some good dialogue with the main character.
Yep.
You know,
I don't actually.
that establishes him as a human being.
Yeah, I don't even see the connection between him and the guy at first. What is that the same guy?
Oh, I mean, they look the same.
All right, all right, all right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you know it's him when you're introduced to him, but
Yep.
you're not just waiting the entire time for him to reveal his fire powers or anything, because he has, he's got his own purpose. He's got his own
Mhm.
role to play, his own purpose to fulfill in the present day.
Yep. Yeah. for me as well, like the first 5-10 minutes lost me a bit because it started in the middle of the fight that we have no context about. Um, the monster managed to kidnap two girls, which we don't really care about. You know, like all the girls here are the same. They're just a victim. Um,
Well,
it
they were elements. Like all these fighters are
yeah.
aspects of different elements. So it's important that they've been kidnapped, I think, because they don't have like now the heroes don't have access to those elements or something.
Uh, but uh,
I think it's
isn't that
significant.
the two girls are just like relative of these five elements?
Of all the fighters at the start,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh
Because
yeah, I think maybe one of them was the other one's sister or something like that. But at
mm,
the same time, they were also like the one of them was the wood girl, I think, and then
all right,
I don't know about the other one, but I think
cool,
they're supposed to be like, you know,
mm,
they have powers just like the fire guy.
cool, understood.
Well, pretty sure anyway.
Yep. So it
Dude, what was
just
the deal with
the I
the main? You go ahead.
oh I just want to say like the animation, the fight are really expressive, and it just it for me it remind me a bit of Mob Psycho 100 action scenes.
Hmm. Well, that's a good comparison to make, I guess, or rather, like a
Yep.
favorable comparison to make for Fog Hill,
Mm.
the five
Yep.
elements.
Yep.
I'm sure that whoever animated it, whoever directed it, they would be happy to hear that.
Yeah. All right. What was you about to
I
say?
have a question about, yeah, what was the deal with like the girl calling her like sixth uncle, seventh uncle, and then them
Yep.
being like, oh, the third brother and the fifth brother? What exactly is going on in this village? Are they
All
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 like
right.
just related to each other? Is it so far removed from civilization that there's just nonstop incest because
No.
there's no one else
It
around?
no. It's just that her family like become the leaders of the village. So we get to see them more instead of the normal villagers. Because
Okay.
I know for sure that her father is the third, and
Right.
he's like the mayor of that village.
Yeah, he has some amount of
So
responsibility.
yes,
But he's not the first brother.
he's
Who
not
is the first brother?
the first brother. If, uh, eventually, I think he's the most important. He's like in the imperial, and he sometimes send them the message, you know. And I think he was the one who sent them the message, and the fifth and seventh they had to go to deliver something.
Hmm? I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I guess I just forgot this. The only delivering or journeying or anything that I remember anything about was the main girl, whose name is like Jiao An,
All right.
or
You
Xiao An.
you remember
She
the
has to go
part?
get a
Yeah.
pot or something.
Yeah, you remember the part where the four brothers like they have like the meeting, and then two of them have to go to the underground.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that was when the third brother hears some news about the first and the second one. So they have to deliver those things to the first or the second brothers.
I don't even remember them taking anything down there though, or
Yeah,
bringing anything back.
yeah.
It was unclear what they were doing.
This is very unclear because they're supposed to go out for the deliver, but then when the bell ring, they already back with nothing
Yeah.
in their hands. So that was a bit confusing part.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's too big a deal. Um, I
Yeah.
guess because at that point the main girl has like taken over the show
Hmm.
along with Fireman, whatever his name is. I didn't
Yeah.
write down his name.
I found the main girl. She impressive, but she have like some trope, some tired trope, which I don't really like. But so far
She has some
I
kind of what?
enjoy her at job, like I don't remember what the trope that
What trope?
is.
She's just like a cheerful. She just loves.
She get embarrassed when she see the guy naked. I mean like it's like all the story trope that we see. And
Yeah.
what else? And the way she talked to him, and maybe the way she talked to him as well. I try to recall.
I didn't really find any of that to be, an issue.
All right. Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's true that she goes kya and like grabs him and dunks him into the water and stuff when she sees him naked.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that
But
bit as well.
that just seems to be very like a big thing in anime.
Yep. This is Chinese animation we're talking about. They shouldn't have any of the anime thingy.
I mean, all the instances of that in Japanese animation probably stem from Chinese stories.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was good.
Yeah, that was amazing. And it's just 3 episodes, guys. So just give yourself a watch. I definitely gonna try the second and the third one, and then wait for God know how long for the rest of the story to come.
I don't know that I'll bother.
Really?
I got other stuff to watch.
It's this good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but it's pretty much just the action that's good and the
Right.
visuals.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the main girl's character. I think she's kind of plucky and, you know.
She remind me a fair bit of the main girls in Decadence, which you had, Natsume, I think.
Oh God.
Her name.
Okay.
Let that sink in.
No. No, I don't think I will. Instead, we can talk about Sunny.
All right, Sunny. All right,
This is the sixth and final volume.
Yeah, we finally reached the end of Sundays.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it took this long because, my memory has faded. My memory of the other
Yeah.
chapters and volumes. I remember liking all of them a lot, so that's good, but
And these the episodes are still pretty good. Sorry, these chapters.
yeah. They are good, man. I was tearing up at the
It
end.
just get you some more time to get used to the world, right? It just take you a bit more time to get used to the world again. After,
What, of Sunny?
Yeah, Sunny after
I guess.
not reading it for too long.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't take that long. Right away I was kind of back. It's just a shame that I can't remember the older stuff as well.
Right.
But like coming into chapter 31, we start with Haruo in a hotel, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a hotel where he was with his mom, and she was planning on dumping him off with this woman who takes care of him while she goes off and does her own thing.
Yep.
And there's a song playing, as
I
there
don't
always
remember
is in
that,
Sunny. There's always like a pro wrestling match playing on the TV, or there's a pop song playing, out of some storefront that they're walking past. And the song that's playing in this one is from Keiji Sawada, and it's about the end of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Just as, Haruo is suggesting to his mom that they sever their own relationship. He says to her, "Well, I might as well stay at Hoshinoko if you're just gonna dump me off with somebody else every time I visit you."
Yep.
So like right away I was back in that mode of Taiyu Matsumoto, paralleling what's going on with the character and what's going on in the environment, with some diegetic sound or songs. I like that kind of thing.
And the way the mother responded with that as well. Well, is that the way you like it? the
Right.
story.
Yeah, and it's obvious from her response the fact that her back is turned and she's continuing to like primp herself to prepare for
Yep.
something that has nothing to do with Haruo, probably to see a man. It's clear from like the way that she says that was what she was aiming for. You know, that's the
Yep.
response that she was hoping for.
Yep.
Uh, that's pretty crushing stuff.
Yep.
So that
Uh,
sets the scene for the rest of the chapter, which is about the frog, Sei's frog, which he calls his family.
yep.
And obviously the experience that Haro has with his own family is painful and is quite negative, and so hearing him label the frog that way, of course, leads him to act out because he doesn't have a family and he doesn't want to see other people having one or trying to create one for themselves.
Mm. Yeah, that actually a really good conflict between Haru and Se in this one, and
Yeah.
it's not direct conflict. It's more about what um they have different opinion in regard to the frogs, and I love the way that Haru just uh, basically steal the frog to throw it and say know it right away, follow it or find the frog down, and then the ending is just so sad.
Yeah, that he lets him go.
Yeah, when he hears like another frog calling for him.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't understand that. There was another frog who
yeah,
was
that
like, oh,
yeah.
dude, I
So
didn't get that at all.
so that's why I think that's why said just set him free and said like go back to your family
Oh,
because we
dude,
hear
I completely missed
yeah
that.
we hear all the sound at that
Right.
point on the gribbit sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But did we actually
I
see?
assume that
Oh,
this is
was it
from
just the fact that there was
no we
ribbiting?
yeah. So we didn't see any other frog, but it just the
Okay.
sound of it and I think the way that the frog look at it that make
Right.
say want to set him free.
Right. Yeah, and also the fact that Haruo is there.
Yep,
I thought
yep,
it was a really interesting decision to have him let the frog go. I didn't think about I just talked about really liking the way that Matsumoto uses sound in this manga, and I didn't even take into account the croaking of the frogs
yep.
in that scene. That would have been really important.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first I was slightly confused about why Sei was letting it go, but what I settled on is the reason, like the the character reason, was that he was kind of acknowledging to Haruo, who was there as a witness,
Mm.
that this frog really wasn't his family, that Haruo was right,
Yep.
and he was kind of allying himself with Haruo in that moment, like saying to him, "It's true, I don't have a family, and neither do you. Like we're in this together.
Yeah. It I think
Both
it's
of us
part
are
of
alone."
yeah, it's part of that as well. I think it's like it have like multiple contexts in this. And the
Yeah, but
fact that
I think it's a yeah.
then the fact that he realized that the frog has his own family and it's best for him to return to his own family. I think it's work as well.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's you can read it as just the story of a boy realizing that he has to give his pet back because
Yep.
it belongs in the wild. I'm sure everyone has seen stories like that a dozen times.
Yep.
But
Toy
I think it's really
Story.
appropriate that this is the first chapter of the volume
Yep.
because he and Haruo having that experience together of like isolation, of loneliness, of
Mhm.
being totally separated from your family, and Sei voluntarily letting his frog go and watching his new family member um, depart. It kind of sets the stage for you know for their escape in chapter 36 because it's the two of
Yep.
them that
Yep.
run away.
Yep.
And it works because I think in chapter 31 at the start of this volume they are finally on the same page,
Yep.
whereas in a lot of the volumes previously they have been unable to see eye to eye. Like especially when you get the scenes where they are where it's bedtime and they're in their rooms together with Junsuke
Yep.
and they're arguing about something. Um, you know, they're not arguing anymore. Like when he lets that frog go,
Yep.
they're not arguing anymore.
That's true. So I think that's what make the next chapter is really good, because the next chapter is just like a recording of a day where they going going out for activities. They
Right.
they go to the amusement park, and we got some set stuff there as well. But like in the sense, this is like the happy moment that they got.
Right. Well, I think the happy moment that they got was actually came at the very end of the chapter when they're called in for dinner.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah. That was really beautiful, I thought. Because like, well, I mean, first of all, it's really appropriate that this chapter follows up chapter 31 because the theme is the same. It's about family. The kids are constantly reminded, like Asako and Megumu specifically are reminded of times that they came to this amusement park with their families.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the two little twin girls who get really upset when one of them loses their it was like a thermos or something along those lines. Yeah. And she says, "My daddy got it for me," and they're both just like crying inconsolably. Yep. I don't know what their situation is with their family because they're not major characters, but you can assume if they're here at Hoshinoko, they don't get to see their dad at all. Maybe he could be dead. He could be out of the picture. There could have been a divorce,
Yep.
So they lose that link to their dad, and it's, of course they're going to be crying about it. So, them losing that cup is like a severing of the connection between them and their family, the same way that Sei let go of his frog.
Yeah, even during the picnic, they constantly reminded of other families.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. I think one of my favorite moment is when Asako just sitting in the chair, like she have to look after on the kids stuff, and she said like everything just look the same, the chair, the table. It's just the people who grow up and move on.
Right.
And I think it just fit into that context because, that's so good, on this observation on this thing.
Well, I think what brings that scene to another level is the fact that specifically she's reminded of the fact that chair used to wobble.
Yep.
But now she occupies the chair differently because she's older, she's bigger. Like physically she occupies it differently. So when she says this place is always the same, it's just the people that change. She's able to like reflect on that so directly because she's sitting in the chair differently now. Like she's bigger.
Yep.
The same chair, used to wobble when she was a kid. It wobbles now, but like, she's changed.
Yep.
The chair is still wobbly.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
But the tables are still rusted. The food is still cheap. Yep.
Everything looks the same.
Yeah, everything's the same, but she's different.
Yep.
And her life is different. Her parents, her dad drinks now. Her mom is in the flashback. She thinks, mom wasn't angry back then.
Yep.
Dad wasn't drinking back then.
Yep. And so I think that's make the ending is really heartwarming. The way that they playing and it's just a simple like come here for dinner and they all join. So,
yeah, I mean immediately before they're called in, we get little speech bubbles of them what they're saying as they're playing outside of Hoshinoko. But what we see in the background behind those speech bubbles is not what they're doing, but shots of the amusement park, which is vacant. There's no one in those shots. There's nobody on the carousel with the horses. There's nobody sitting at any of the tables or benches. There's nobody on the Ferris wheel. Like it's the amusement park after it's closed down, maybe.
Yep.
And so you feel as though what the children are doing, like the way that they're playing, and they're playing house, they're playing family.
Yep.
Like one's the dad, one's the mom. One asks for Megumi's hand in marriage. He's the fiance, and the dad's like, "I'm not giving my daughter to you." So even in their, it's worth noting that even in their pretend play of families, like something is going wrong.
Yep.
There may be like some trauma that one of them is indirectly acting out. So you're seeing the amusement park and it's empty and it's vacant and it's hollow. And what the kids are doing, they're only playing at having a family. They don't truly have one the way that they dream about. So it just, I thought it was going to end that way, and I thought I was going to be crushed. But then Mitsuko says, "Come in for dinner, everybody," and they all together rush in. It's just so nice.
Yeah.
Like they have their own family. It's each other.
Yeah. And I think that also set the stage for the next chapter, which is more about Kenji and Natsuko through the eyes of Shutomo. I think this is the first time I saw him as a main character. As a character, because I haven't noticed him before.
Yeah, I think he was new in this volume. I could be wrong about that, and that's one thing. I'm sure I'll read this again at some point. I saw him in one of the previous chapters. I think it was the amusement park. You see a kid with like really close cropped hair and glasses, and he says something to Taro, maybe like, "Don't eat that or you'll get sick." The ice cream. When Taro's eating a gigantic ice cream, he says, "You're gonna get sick, Taro."
All right.
But it was, it's not as though he appeared in a previous volume. I don't believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So he appears here, and
yeah.
Is the implication that he's a new kid? He seems to be. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think from the implication, he actually one of the old kids. Who
I think
is
that's probably
there
right.
like for the longest time. We just didn't notice him, and I didn't, for sure.
Yeah. I think he's probably new. They needed a friend that was Kenji's own age for this story.
Yeah.
Although he's not the sort of friend who just does whatever Kenji wants. He acts on his own. He ropes his dad into the scheme to cover him so that Kenji can go on this trip, and of course it goes awry. And I wasn't sure how to feel about the ending of this chapter.
Oh man, I still think it's crushing. Like at one point when we see the father, spending time with his son. I just think everyone got a different side of them that we don't know. Like Kenji father can be disattentive, He still has some good quality in him. And then just the ending hit, and I think the kind of message is like it just a small hope from Kenji about his father is again crushed.
Right.
So
yeah.
Just then
I just wasn't
for a really a really happy family reunion in this.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. Kenji and Asako did not. I mean, a lot of other characters, once we get to the end, we can talk about that. But a lot of characters got something of a happy ending. Or, a few did.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenji and Asako definitely not falling into that category.
Mm-hmm.
At least I don't think so.
Yep.
Not from what I remember.
Yeah, and it's Shutomu characters who suggest, no, not suggest, he advised.
He sets it all up.
Yeah, he set it up, and he advised Kenji to come to do the road trip.
Yeah, I mean, when I said I wasn't sure how to feel about the ending, what I meant was like, it ends with Kenji, going out there late at night and sweating it up, and
Yep. Say
having
sorry.
to grovel and be like, I'm so sorry. Please take this commemorative soap, or
Yep. Yep.
whatever the right adjective is there.
Yep.
Um, and that's the end. And while he's doing this, Sutomu is like in their room looking at this pen that if you hold it up to the light the right way, the lady's clothes,
Yep.
her bikini disappears, and you
Yep.
I just wasn't sure what to make of that ending. I thought it was weird.
I thought that was nice. It's like it it's in tension with the very first scene that we see that he went to the Sunny, and he found that the Pomac has gone.
Oh, I didn't make that connection.
Yeah. So yeah, there's also this side of him that nobody knows about, and the fact that I think the Pomac from Kenji's, I also think that he intended to buy it for his father, but then the same thing happened again.
I
So,
don't think he intended to buy the porn mags for his dad. Because
yeah,
he stashed them out there. He kept them out there.
yeah. That
It was the pen that he meant to buy for his dad,
no,
right?
no. I think that's the thing that he got the palm mic for his father, but then he was disappointed with his father for something, so he decided to keep it. So this happened again here that he was about to give the pen to his father, but something about his father that disappointed him, so he gave that to his friend instead.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, well, yeah, I might be a bit far fetched for this one, but
That's possible.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the point
Yeah.
the point thing is like yeah, correspondent with the very first scene that we see from Shutomu.
Right. Yes, there's definitely a connection there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Just the thing that I'm not sure how to feel about is like Tsutomu messed up.
Yep.
And he says to Kenji, "I'm sorry.
Yep.
This is all my fault." And Kenji says, "No, it's not your fault." But you still feel as the reader that Tsutomu has really messed up and done something wrong here. And the way that the chapter ends is with him being like, "Yeah, that's
Uh,
the stuff. Take those clothes off." I don't.
all right.
I just don't
I
know
don't think he
how to feel
I don't
about
think what he
that.
did
Like,
is wrong here, because first it's come from his good intention of trying to connect the father and the son together, and second is it's all it's all because of Kenji father who messed it up.
oh, I lost you for a
You know
second.
what I
What's the
mean?
second reason?
It's all about Kenji's father who messed it up. It had nothing to do with
Oh,
Shutomu in that case.
that's true, but I don't think Tsutomu. I mean, I'm sure that Tsutomu, like not having a father himself, he feels I don't know. He wants Kenji to have a relationship with his dad, but I don't think he's doing this like entirely pure heartedly. I think he and
Mm.
Kenji are friends. I don't think he was doing anything maliciously, but
Mm.
you even hear him explain,
Mm.
to Kenji that your dad is still alive. Don't take
Yeah.
that for granted.
Yeah.
And he also says people blaming stuff, like blaming their inability to do things or attend events or whatever because they're foster kids, that pisses
Mm.
him off.
Yep.
He
Yep.
says that to Kenji as well. I think the
He
reason that he set this up for Kenji was because he didn't like it that Kenji was using his dad as an excuse or using being a foster kid as an excuse not to do something.
Yeah, he makes a lot of point out. So I see that I see it as a good um as a constructive criticism that he got for Kenji.
Maybe. I don't know. I just feel it as though it's a weird, you know.
Mhm.
This chapter neither lifted me up nor did it destroy me, and a
Yep.
lot of chapters in Sunny do one of those two things. This one is just kind of like, and so Kenji had to cover his dad's ass. The
Yeah.
end. I don't
Yeah.
like. I didn't know what to make of it, but I do
Yep.
like the fact that you drew that connection between the nudie pen and the
Yep.
porno mags.
Yep.
I hadn't thought about that at all. I'm sure that was like on the
intentional.
author's mind. Yeah. One of the themes of the chapter, or the motifs, I should say.
Yep.
One of the through lines.
All right. The next chapter is about Kumi, and it is my favorite chapter out of this.
It was interesting. I really, really liked the ending with Haruo flying the kite,
Yeah,
because it's so symbolic of Haruo's character. Like he's not going to be tied down to anything. He's flying the kite, like the kite's high up in the air. Same
Yeah,
way
yeah.
that he himself is free, like no rules, no laws or adults can
Yep.
contain him. And I think Kumi, admires that.
And it, oh my god, that I think it's just masterful. The how Matsumoto construct these chapters, because we see everything through Kumi's point of view, and sees like Shay is really observative over like small details. So she see many of these disadvantages of the kids in Hoshinoko, and at that point she said it's unfair for them to experience such a disadvantage like that compared to other kids.
Right.
And we see a bit of her at home. So this is the first time we see her mother and the sister, and the way that the mother interact with her, and we can see why she feel left out by the house. And it's just like a nail in the coffin that the mother, like before she left, said to her that don't come to that house ever again.
Yeah.
And she was rebellious of that, so she thinking of giving her bag, the new bag, to Kiko. And the way Kiko act is, out price, out of everything, but she makes sense as well. She doesn't accept the gift just because it's from Kumi.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I
every,
mean, Kiko's character changed a little bit, I think,
Yep.
after
yep,
I can't remember which volume it was or which
she said
chapter,
back.
but yeah, she thought she was going to go live with mom,
Yep.
and then that didn't happen. And we saw Kumi's mom later in this volume.
Yep, and I just love the way that before that, when they when all the girls talking about Haru, and Kumi said like she would be afraid if if he had to spend time alone with Haru, because he's just out of control. This set up for the last scene where like she feel really crushed about like despite all the good intentions for her to give the bag to Kiko is coming wrong. She have to carry it back home, which is very heavy.
Right.
I think at that point she intended not to come back to the house again because of what the mother says as well. And then she meet Haru, and they have like that that moment together where just the ending. It's just Haru talking to her to just come back, come
Right.
back anytime you like. It's just so great, everything. Man.
Yeah, it's a good meeting of two characters who are total opposites.
Yep.
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 Kumi feels totally tied down. She feels invisible at home. I mean, I guess that's part of what makes it so great is they have the same root problem. Like neither of them feel seen by their mothers. But whereas Kumi has not
Yep.
broken free of her mother, she she rebels in a small way by taking that backpack.
Yep. Yep.
But it's unsuccessful. Like her rebellion doesn't work because Kiko rejects the gift. So she's walking with the symbol of her failed rebellion in her arms, and leaving Hoshinoko, and then she encounters the rebel himself,
Yep.
Haruo, who
That's-
tells her, he's essentially telling her like, don't give up.
Yep. That's true.
That's probably what his words represent to her.
Yep.
He says, come back anytime you like, and he calls her a nerd and says why would I want to fly a kite? She of course, like kite flying is a tradition on New Year's, in Japan.
Yep.
And she says, "Oh, I've only ever flown a kite at New Year's." And he says, "Why would I want to do something dumb like fly a kite when it's really cold outside?" You know, he doesn't, he's not gonna tiptoe around her,
Yep.
or spare her feelings, and neither did Kiko. Honestly,
Yep.
like, you know, so she may be hurt, in some of her exchanges with the kids at Hoshinoko, but you know, Haruo was there at the end to tell her not to give up. Whether it's her mom who's like, you know, kind of disregarding her and ordering her around, even as she never once looks at her daughter, I don't think, during the chapter. I could be wrong about that. In a previous volume, we did hear from Kiko, or from Kumi rather, about the fact that she feels totally invisible at home.
Yep.
You know, because the daughter is like younger and cuter, and even if she gets good grades, it doesn't matter. I think she was probably talking about Sei. She was talking with Sei about that in the sunny, or while they were walking their dogs. I did think it was kind of interesting. You kind of got a hint at the end, that she kind of likes Haruo.
Yep.
Whereas before she was spending all this time with Sei, you thought that maybe like the two of them were an item.
I think she get a better impression of Haruo since she doesn't necessarily like him, you know.
Oh no, I think she does like him, because in the final chapter, when Haruo with his new haircut is sitting in the sunny and he's talking with Megumu, she says, "Oh, Kumi will be happy to see you too."
I don't remember that part. Can you just say that again? What did she say?
Oh yeah, in the final chapter, when Haruo and Megumu are talking in the sunny, right as they're being called in for Megumu's going away party, she says, "Oh, are you going to stay the night?" He says, "Yeah, probably." And she says, "Oh, good. Kumi will be happy to see you."
All right. Yeah.
You know, it's like we're 8 months in the future. Sei is gone. Kumi is still coming around to this house, and she's going to be happy that Haruo is there.
It's a bit reaching, but okay. I'm fancy with that idea.
I don't know. I don't think it's that big a reach. Like, when you're a kid, why do you get a crush on somebody? I think, you know, I think it has less to do with like your, you know, because it doesn't have to do with your sexuality. Not really. Not when you're so young. I think it has more to do with identifying something about that person that you like, some trait of theirs that you like. And I think she likes that Haruo is, you know, is so free spirited. Because she envies him for that. She wants it for herself. So I think that can be something that would lead a child to like have a little crush on another one.
Yep. All right.
I remember actually having a crush on a girl in 5th grade, who was like always being sent to the principal's office.
All right.
And who was not, you know, I don't mean to be like rude or disparaging, but she was not very smart. And she was friends with some of the mean girls, but I had a crush on her. I was completely opposite. I was like, you know, I got good grades on every test. I was really straight laced. I never spoke disrespectfully to my teachers or anything. Maybe I liked her because she had something that I wanted, something that
that's right.
found intriguing.
Yeah, it actually like you more attract on what you don't have.
Yeah, the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
All right, next chapter is about Mr. Adachi.
Yes, that's right. It is.
I like.
Okay, I have a theory about Adachi's dad.
All right. Yep.
I think. I don't know if we know the ultimate fate of his dad for sure, but I think his dad died due to illness. Because of the way that he talks to Junsuke in the sunny at the end of the chapter. He says that like the sadness is going to be your friend. It's going to protect you.
Yep. I do think it's implied that, and why it's never like said explicitly. I do feel like he also get like a really sad past, and that's why he committed himself to take care of this kid.
Yeah. I think he wants to be a dad to them
Yep.
in the way that he, like, obviously he has this really strong memory of his dad driving him over this scenic route so that they can see the sun setting. I remember there was a reference to that in a previous volume as well.
Yep.
And this time we get a little bit of a conversation between him and his dad about the sun legs.
Yep.
And he's flashing back to that, or he's dreaming of it while he's asleep. And
Yep.
Junsuke wakes him up, and they go out to the sunny. I feel as though, yeah, it's probably implied that his dad died of an illness, and I
Yep.
think that his time with his dad was cut short, and now he's trying to get it back in some way by being a father to these kids.
And then he visit Kiko's mom, so we know more about. I think this is the first time we see her mom, and we know more about her circumstances. So
I mean, it's pretty much what we expected, right?
Yep, that's true, and it's just
Yeah.
like Kiko, like I think Kiko has every right to be that angry about her mom.
Yep.
And at the same time, we can't really blame her mom as either. It just
Sure you can.
yeah. It's just how that works.
You can blame parents.
For not taking care of their children. Yes.
Yeah, for not supporting their kids. I mean, the parents have got their own stuff going on. They may never have, like, when they were growing up, perhaps their mom and their dad weren't very attentive to them, or they weren't around very much, so they didn't see, they didn't get that experience. They didn't have somebody modeling how a parent tends to a child. So they don't understand how to do it themselves. Like, I totally get that. I love those sorts of themes.
Yeah.
Like, how the sins of a father are passed to a son, or that sort of thing. When parents aren't able to, or they are able. Like, the flip side of the coin is if a child receives lots of love from their parents and support, or perhaps not from a parent but from another figure, and then they're able to pass that down to someone that they care for, a child or someone else. I love that sort of stuff. But I mean, as much as I acknowledge the fact that it's complicated, it's being a parent is like impossible, and everybody who does it is performing like a small miracle every day. But I think you can still blame parents for fucking up,
Yep.
And her mom definitely fucked up. Like, she got herself into a situation where she's jumping from man to man, and she's not financially secure. She doesn't have like a lot of emotion left over for her daughter.
Yep. Hi. It actually interesting that that all the kids regard like despite we see how I actually feel about this kid. I don't feel the same that all these kids regard Mr. Adachi as like a parent figure to them, because they keep holding on to their old parents, and they keep trying to like get things away from the home if they can.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I think,
well, two of them in particular, yeah.
Yeah. So I think for them, Mr. Adachi is like the representative of the house, and they also don't really see the house as their true home.
Right.
So yeah, there's this kind of conflict, and I think it's absolutely knowing that it's actually pretty sad for Adachi as well.
Yeah, he is secretly like one of the most tragic figures in this story.
Yeah, because the kids just don't respect him enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're children. I mean, when you said that they can't regard him as a father because they hold on to their own family, is like, that hits the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Like, he can't. what he wants is to be a father to them in some way,
Yep.
you know, in order perhaps to reclaim some time with his own father that he didn't get. That like that's like the psychological
Yep.
motivator there. But he wants to be sort of a father to them, and he can't do that.
Mhm.
He can't do it because the kids have their own lives. You know, they've got their own
Yep.
places where they come from, and they want to go back to.
Yep.
And he says, I think it's in chapter 35, where the chapter opens with him saying, is this the chapter where Haruo has done something wrong, and like the neighborhood association
Oh,
comes to the house and they
yeah,
talk about
that's
it?
right.
I think that's this chapter.
Yeah,
It's
this
really
is-
interesting that the chapter starts off with them discussing Haruo,
Yep.
but Haruo is not the focus of this chapter, like not even close. It's Adachi
That's right.
and a little bit of Kiko.
It
You know,
actually
and of course the
end with Haruo, but I think it's just like set up for the next chapters mostly.
it ends with, how does it end with Haruo? I can't remember.
He's standing by the bridge and he looking down at all these running cats.
Right. And he's thinking to himself all the time about like the different cities, like the routes
Yep.
that buses will take. We saw something similar with Sei when he was like
from Sei,
looking
yeah.
over, when he was looking over a schedule of
Yep.
bus departure times and stuff.
Yep,
And
yep,
he
yep.
like he's supposed to be doing his homework. Instead, he's looking at that book, and then someone comes into the room. He hides it.
Yep.
So I guess we get something similar from
Yeah.
Haruo.
That's
Yeah.
right. So in episode 36 they running away, and I think this is like I would say the climax of this entire volume.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, Sunny is really, all the stories are, even though there's so much continuity in regards to like the characters' lives, you can read each one just on its own.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's the climax. I mean, it's certainly
Without
a
any
climactic event.
resolution.
They run away, and this time Sei is actually successful. You know, he doesn't crash a
Yeah.
car into a light post.
Yeah. We don't actually get to see the resolution note, right? Because like
Yeah.
6-7 months has have passed.
I think it says 8 months.
yeah until
at the start of chapter 37.
episode.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that chapter 36 ends.
Yep.
There's some song, I think, or like lyrics or something that's on each of the panels at the end, leading up to that last shot of them like disappearing kind of into the city.
Mhm.
I can't remember the song.
I don't even try to read.
But it has to do with, I remember, it has to do with going home. Like
Yep.
the boys are going home.
Yep.
You know, and it turns out, based on how the story ends, that's really what they were doing. There's a line somewhere, I think it's in chapter 35, the Adachi chapter, or the Adachi chapter, when he poses like the scenario to the older gentleman, like the head of the house.
Yep.
He says, maybe we need to send him to the other home in the city
Yep. Mhm.
because Haruo is like too wild. He's beaten up some kid.
Yep.
Which is why he swears that they're going to pay medical bills for this child. So
Yep.
Haruo is like out of control.
Mhm.
And he says maybe we ought to send him to the city because he just feels like trapped and judged living here in this small town.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then so at the end of chapter 36, when those lyrics are on the page and it says, you know, they're going home. We're going home.
Yep.
That's really what Haruo was doing. Like he needs to be in the city.
Yeah.
He needs the busyness and the noise, and he needs kind of that invisibility almost.
Yep.
Like the ability to blend in.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Oh my god. I don't know what I feel about these chapters, because on one hand I can see why they still wanted to get away from the house, but like at another sense though, they have nowhere to go back to. Even even Haru say that like he can't go back to his mom because that's gonna be the same thing happen over again. She might not welcome him and he might
Right.
get hurt for
Even
that.
after he has that dream. He has that dream where he and Sei show up at his mom's house and
Yep.
his dad is there and they're going to live together, and then Sei in the dream, being the representative of his real self in the waking world is like, Haruo,
Yep.
someone's coming, wake up.
Yep.
The dream is shattered. So yeah, then later on in the chapter he says, I've got, I can't, I'll just help you.
Yep.
Doesn't he say that to say, I'll help you find your mom, because he knows that it's not going to work out for him. So he's going to try to get it through somebody else.
Even like the truck driver, like with the with like the short scene that he got there, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. He gets the colas for the kids and then they've run
Yeah.
off.
And it just like he got tricked by the kid.
Yeah. Especially after he empathized with them, because he says that he lost his parents at a young age.
Yep.
But I
So
mean,
yeah,
that's the reality. I mean, I think that scene where they leave even after this man has promised to go get Haruo a cola, he's showing them some amount of kindness, but kindness is not what these kids really want. They want their mom, they want their dad.
Yep.
They got kindness at Hoshinoko.
Yep.
It wasn't perfect, obviously. I'm sure they fought with each other. Haruo and Sei fought with each other. They fought with other kids who lived at the home and with people who they met at school and their teachers. And Adachi was not like the gentlest authority figure either. He hit Haruo upside the head all the time, and he didn't always express himself in the best way. But it was a safe place for them to be. And that wasn't safety isn't what they wanted.
Yep.
So they left to go to a place where they could try to find what it was they wanted, which was their family.
Yeah. And
their real family.
And one sort of conversation from Say that I found really sad was that he said that he don't remember his mom face very pretty clearly now.
Yep.
To the point that if they meet in person, he might not recognize her. That's so sad.
Yeah, I wonder how he did meet her, because we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't actually know. It's keep quite a bit, and I think we got like the happy ending for Say, which is not really warranted.
Oh. Yeah.
But,
I guess.
well,
I mean, I wonder, does that kind of thing have to be warranted? Does it have to be earned?
well, yeah. Well, in the context of this series, I don't think it had to be earned. They all yell for the love of the parents. So it's nice of them to eventually got one. The thing is, I can understand Megumu's decide to go with the with the relative. For say though the time skip,
her aunt and uncle.
yeah, just it doesn't really make sense to me.
That she wants to go with them?
Say for the kid,
Oh.
not for kid.
That Sei
not
is
for
able to find his
Megumu.
mom.
I think it makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we don't know how it happened. There's 8 months in there that are blank.
Yep.
So Sei found his mom somehow. He and Haruo were successful, and then Haruo ends up getting relocated at this Yokaichi house. I think that's the name of it.
Yep.
Where he's on the baseball team. I think one of the best things about that final chapter is that he has found.
now.
Yes, well, he's found something that he really likes doing, You
Yep.
know, he's not just killing time, shoplifting, throwing people's frogs into the rice fields, and getting into trouble.
Yep.
He's found something that he really likes doing and he's proud of.
Yep. Yep.
That's really amazing. You know, he found something to be proud of. Look at this jersey. You know, I'm the only fifth grader who got one.
Yep.
He wants to tell everybody. And he didn't have anything like that before.
That's right. Yeah. So that's good on him. I feel like yeah, a lot of detail. All right, this is nice way to end the story because we see like they just reunite all together one last time for Megumis. The art of time skip just a bit bugged me.
Yeah. I get that. I guess, you know, I can you well, I don't know. I mean I feel like it's appropriate, I guess, because there was an ending that Matsumoto had in mind and he couldn't engineer it without a jump in time, I
Yep.
think.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously I wouldn't give that sort of pass to just any author
Yep.
or just any artist. For example, I certainly wouldn't give it to Urasawa.
Yep.
But Matsumoto is like he's the master of crafting character
Mm-hmm.
in manga form. I mean, I really can't say that with any authority. I've read hardly any manga. But if this work is any indication, and if Ping Pong, you know, which he wrote, is any indication, he's the best.
Yep.
So I guess I give him a pass.
Yep.
I mean, what
he-
consider like what he would have had to do in order to achieve this ending without the time skip. He would have had to take focus away from the Sunny and from Hoshinoko and from all of those characters. And I don't this
That's
story
true.
has always like rotated its cast of characters around in a
Yep.
big circle with each one getting the spotlight one at a time, you
Mhm.
know, and I don't think he was willing to take the other kids out of the picture.
Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes sense. Yep. All right. It's just 6 volumes of this one, but I think it is one of these the really great work from a master of manga.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's certainly better than Pluto, for example.
Yeah, I don't know how many people you would find who would agree with that though. It's I don't really get that.
Yeah.
It's what how did you feel about the final panel of
Of
Sunny?
of Sunny. All right. Let
Last
me.
panel.
Can you describe the last panel?
Yeah, it's the dining room. The table is all set for the party,
Right.
and there's a little
So
speech bubble that says, "Let's all gather in the living room for Megumu's going away party," and it's just Taro and Shunsuke in the shot. No one else is there.
all right.
I found that to be really strange. I wanted to see everyone one last time.
Yep.
I wonder why. Why was it just Taro and Shunsuke?
Yeah. I would just say that it's a perfect ending. That like it's set in the kitchen in the living room where everyone got to eat. But yeah, when it's just Taro and Musuke, I think maybe it's meant to be that these two kids are gonna stay here longer than the others. So they are a pack of like the others can have the opportunity to get away from it, but these kids stay here. But
I think that makes sense.
that's kind
But
of
I don't know. I mean,
sad.
Shunsuke is there, but not Junsuke.
And his brother. Yeah, that's right.
It totally makes sense that Taro will be, he
Yeah.
is Hoshinoko, you know. He'll never he's that's where he belongs. you
Yeah,
know?
but the thing is like even before that that final shot, like on the shot we see is, you know, like the settings of the house is, there's no one in there, you know. We just hear the dialogue. We just we see the
Yeah.
piano. We see the hallway.
It reminded me of what they did in chapter 32.
Yeah, yeah,
With the vacant shots of the amusement park. So where were, I guess they were outside playing or something.
yeah. They are outside playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that the very interesting choice to end.
Yeah. It was. I would love to. I mean, I'm probably going to Google,
Yeah,
see if I can find an interview or something. Although, if I had to guess, I mean, I know hardly anything about the man, but if I had to guess, I would say that he's probably the type to let his work speak for itself.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
not giving a lot of explanations
Yep.
as to why he paneled things or portrayed things the way that he did.
Yep.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
it really bugged me, especially because the shot of Haruo in the sunny
Yep.
flying over everything.
Yep.
I thought for sure that was going to be the last shot, and I was like, man, what a great way to go out. And then there was more, and I was like, wait, where are we going with this?
Yeah, because we don't really know that is the farewell for Megumi, right?
Well, we do. Before that point, we do know that it's her going
Yeah.
away party. I mean, she talks to Haruo in the sunny about like being scared, you know,
Yeah.
of going with her aunt and uncle, but still making up her mind that it was for the best.
I do think it makes sense that he finished with like one last look at the house without any children in it. I think it does make sense.
Why does that make sense?
This is the whole thing, you know, like 80% of the sixth volume is in within the house. So it's like the last look of the house.
Yeah.
But I think it might make more sense if, you know, like one of the kids become an adult, and they come back to the house and see like if everything have changed. It make more sense.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they did already do a story like that
Yeah. They
with
did.
the, you know, the
One
guy
of-
who used to live there who
Yep.
who kind of got his life together and then came back. And
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
So
But
yeah.
I could have seen that as an ending for sure. But I mean, the manga is called Sunny. Why
Yep.
don't you end with the image of Haruo and the Sunny?
Yep.
You know, revisiting the one place at the house where he felt,
Yep.
you know, where he felt free, where he felt like
That's true.
nobody was trying to constrain him or hold him down. And then you see that visualized in the shot of the flying car with him in the driver's seat.
Yep.
I just feel like there wasn't a better possible
Mhm.
final image.
Yep. All right. We actually reached 2 hours, so we spent like an hour to
Yeah, we're out of time.
to assess the last volume of Sunny. It's work great.
We're
It's
out of
work
time.
what it does. But
Yeah.
yep, this is coming to the end. So thank you very much for listening. And next, so what's the plan for the next podcast, Rupert?
I mean, I think we'll do it in 2 weeks, and it'll probably be like a mid-season check-in sort of thing.
All right, sure.
By that point, a lot of shows will have 6 episodes out.
And we're gonna decide a classic shows, a classic manga, to continue with this column.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna.
So
It's has a lot to live up to.
yep. That's right. You will find out about that in 2 weeks.
Indeed.
All right. Goodbye for now.
See ya.
Thank you for listening.